back, you're watching Overdrive. The all-new Royal Enfield Bullet 350 has launched in an all-new avatar based on the J-Series platform. It is available in 3 trims starting at 1.73 lakh rupees. Let's find out what's new in this motorcycle.
Now, the Bullet is a motorcycle that is a legend by Royal Enfield standards because, well, first and foremost, although it's been around for more than 90 years, well, it's a motorcycle that Royal Enfield has built its reputation on to date. Now, since the early 80s and 90s, well, it was a well-known fact that Royal Enfield did manufacture the Bullet, but to every Indian household, well, if you owned one, you didn't own a Royal Enfield, you owned a Bullet. Well, that's how well-known the brand was at back then. Now, times have changed and the motorcycle has too. Well, we're out here with the 2023 Royal Enfield Bullet and we're going to find out what's so special about it. So, let's get right to it. Royal Enfield's motto is made like a gun. And of course, the Bullet name has an important part to play in that very tagline. The Bullet is a hallowed name that resounds in the halls of Royal Enfield. It's a motorcycle that the company built its legacy on before the arrival of 350cc single-cylinder bikes like the Thunderbird or the Classics or the Meteor. All of them arrived on the scene. Compared to the older BS6 Bullet that was sold out here, well, this 2023 model could be considered a generational leap ahead of the older bike. But in the light of the world today, well, it isn't completely new. Let me explain. Just to get it out of the way right now, the new 350cc Bullet and the current 350cc Classic motorcycles have a lot in common. The engine, suspension and most underpinnings included. Still, the ride and handling dynamics have improved tremendously over the older Bullets sold out here, and so too the level of engine refinement. The balancer shaft of the torquey 349cc long stroke motor allows for a pleasurable ride experience with just enough vibrations that let you know that you're riding a motorcycle of some substance. Its output figures remain at 20.5 PS and 27 Nm, never a real bad thing, and the 5-speed gearbox from the Classic 350 makes an appearance here too, with its gearing unchanged. The wheels, the handlebar, the tank, the ABS-equipped brakes are all common between the current Classic and the new Bullet model. Although I wasn't really upset with the configuration of the Bullet 350, I would have loved for its handlebar to have been slightly flatter, you know, like how it is on the older models. In terms of ride dynamics, the double down tube frame still feels ready to take on long sweeping bends. The single bench seat has altered the rider triangle marginally and the stock exhaust note sounds a tad different in comparison to the Classic 350. But you won't get that cracker thump of the older models. The ergos are very relaxed, which is awesome, and the seat is very comfy and like before will be great for long touring stints. With the 13-litre tank and 195 kg curb, which is the same as the Classic, well, the Bullet is a breeze to ride around the city too. Design-wise, the Bullet retains the same silhouette that generations across the world have come to adore this motorcycle for. It still oozes retro charm from head to toe. Alright, so although the 2023 Bullet has a lot in common with the 350 Classic, well, what sets this one apart, at least the top-end version, has to be these nice hand painted pinstriping on the tank and the quarter panels. Then of course you get the nice metal badging on both these same panels as well. You get a squarish airbox and battery cover out here as opposed to the rounded panels on the Classic 350. A single bench seat which is very different than the split seat on the Classic, and of course the slightly angular rear fender on this particular motorcycle. Now, in the light of today, the Bullet 350 can clearly be seen as a different rendition of the existing J-Series Classic 350 with some subtle yet definitive changes to some of its panels, the seat, badging. Because, in essence, that's what it actually is. The 2023 Bullet gets the same instrumentation layout as the Classic, so you get that analog speedo with the digital bar underneath that reads out things like the trip, odo and time. Like the other 350cc Enfield sold out here, you'll have to shell out extra for the navigational pod or wait for some special edition to be launched because that bit of kit doesn't come standard otherwise. Back in the good old days, the Bullet 350 was seen as a status symbol, a bike that really stood out in front of the rest as a sign of success, and it also flexed some serious masculinity muscles. Now, times have changed since then, and so have those particular notions. Now, if you're wondering why should the Bullet 350 even exist, if in fact it is a classic 350 in disguise? Well, for starters, Ari wanted to hit that refresh button on the Bullet 350, thereby turning to a new chapter in the legacy of a motorcycle that's been around for more than 90 years and making it accessible to a younger generation.
Now, to sum things up out here, what has Royal Enfield really done with the 2023 Bullet? Well, first and foremost, it has allowed this motorcycle to finally play catch-up to the other current crop of 350cc motorcycles in its portfolio. Because with the new engine, the chassis, well, it has undergone a substantial change over the previous Bullet model. Now, yes, there are different ways you can perceive this motorcycle. First and foremost, you can look at it as a classic 350 in disguise, which it actually is. But then again, why would you buy this motorcycle? Of course, its price, well, it ranges from 1,75,000 and goes up all the way to 2,15,000, which is slightly cheaper than the classic 350. But then again, why would you pay for that? Well, there's just one reason for that, because you would want to be part of that rich, long-lasting legacy that is associated with the Bullet brand.
Well, we've run out of time on this week's episode of Overdrive, but remember you can stay in touch with the team through Facebook, Twitter as well as YouTube. Drop in your comments and you can follow our latest updates on Instagram as well. We'll see you next week. Until then, drive and ride safe.